Hello, everybody. It's me, your boy Cryptid. So, I have noticed something that I'm not a huge fan of. There is not a lot of content about Tribe 9 in general on YouTube or anything, or really anything describing anything or talk about anything important. So, I figured I'd do a video, maybe another video here and there, depending on how you guys like this, talking about the extension cards. And going over a couple different builds, some memey, some not, and try and explain to people, or at least get them started on different tension card sets to help them out. Uh, so okay, let's take a look at it. So I'm gonna go over my first team. My first team right here that I like using a lot. Now, granted, the characters aren't severely important for most things, but it does help in certain accounts. So I use this team. It has 3 premium characters, 2 of them banner characters and 1 of them standard. Yeah, I understand, but the tension card sets can be used by other people, right? So the Unity set is super good. All right, let's talk about that. This is a good 2-piece combo because this is the only card I believe that gives Unity at the moment, and it increases your secondary attack, and then when your secondary attack hits, it increases it more. Okay, and then this is the clincher. When Unity is granted, these stats right here are doubled. So I only have it at level 30, and I'm already getting almost 11% crit rate and almost 11% defense point. That's huge because it's getting doubled. That is almost that's over 20% crit rate right here alone. That is massive. And I have it going on because I'm using what's his name? Kazuki. I'm using Kazuki. He grants a lot of shields. What I have going on with this team is a lot of parry, a lot of counter attacks, which triggers his little pylon thing, his shield, to grant people shields. And whenever shields granted with this card grants shields, you get kingship. When you get kingship, or when you get shields, you get extra crit rate. When you get shields, you get kingship, and then it reduces tension consumption. All right, so all very cohesive. So that's what I got going on with my first one. If you have these characters, you can run the same thing. I've been having fun. I've been playing Q and letting the other 2 just do their thing, and I've been having a great time. I could spam ultimates because every time I have at least 2 of my bars, my tension gauges, I just get a crap ton of shields from all the parrying I do with him. And I just use ultimates for nothing. I'll use a 2 gauge ultimate for 1 every time. So I'll always be at 2 gauge. It is super fun. I'd recommend trying it. But what about for people who don't have these characters specifically? Well, you can use Oi. I think that's her name. This girl right here. Yeah, Minami. She also gives you a shield, but it's only on your chain skill. So if you want to use that, you got to use break characters. There's Q, who has a very high break. He has a good break, and then as a healer, they have a good break. Just any character or the main character has really good break, and they're also a healer if you use their secondary path. You really want to just go with breaking ability characters if you do that. But that is another option if you want to use them. Now, okay, press the wrong button. All right, we're gonna go over to the next one. I like this one. So it's about the curses. I was really interested in the curse tension cards, right? So it's whenever an operating character, which is the one you're controlling, hits an enemy with a strategy skill, grants yourself and the enemy curse. And I have it at level 20, so it's almost 10 seconds. I think it's really nice. Now, this card is not good. It is a part of the curse set, but I would recommend not using that and using something else. A good standalone card. This is a good standalone card, especially if you're having problem learning the game, because it grants you a free revive and it gives you a good amount of crit damage multiplier. But I would recommend not using this card because it directly goes against the whole curse, which, if you don't know, it decreases your primary and secondary attack multiplier. So it's not really good for most people. But if you're playing Simba, who doesn't really care about her auto attack, her primaries, or her secondary. Her secondary is just to move the zone around. But her strategy skill is the only thing that doesn't get reduced. And it's her main source of damage. So it's really good if you're mainly playing Simba. So you throw this on, you got good curses, you build up your stacks for your void, and whenever you activate a secondary attack, and it's all about the curses, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not good at explaining myself, but here it is. And I have these going on. These are just good if you're looking for fillers. The crit multiplier is just too good, especially when you get it higher. It's just too good of crit multipliers. Very nice to have. But that's my little curse setup. I would recommend doing something else with this one. Definitely removing that and get something else, a good one-off. A good shield card, which is also good with the kingship because it is part of the shield, is whenever the enemy's tension phase increases, you get a shield, which is really good. It does cost some tension, but it's only 10, and it shouldn't be going off too much. You shouldn't be letting the enemy increase it too much, right? This is really just like in case scenarios. But let's move on to the next one. Let's not dilly-dally. This is one I was kind of memeing with, because if you have Q, he does a lot of counterattacks. Because you do the whole build-up phase where he goes a little Super Saiyan, and he creates a tension, so he taunts everybody. So this is what I got going on for a counterattack build. Now, whenever you execute a counterattack, you grant the enemy control, which if you're getting hit, you're kind of ruining the whole counterattack thing. But if you do, it reduces their tension by 3. Okay, sure, whatever. The main thing you want to look at is the control crit rate. It increases your crit rate whenever you launch an attack towards people with control by 15%. That is a massive buff. I also have this one. I have it at level 30, but increases your counterattack damage multiplier by 20%. And if they're under control, which they're always put under control with this card if you successfully counterattack. So you should always have this active. So right now it's a 40% plus damage boost. That's massive. And then we have cards like this. I did a little bit of a hegemony counterattack thing right here. Not a full counterattack, but it's nice. It's fun. So this one, his secondary, you never want to use Q's secondary. Let's put that out there. This is literally just for the attention to hegemony conversion, right? This is a 0-cost card, so it's always going to be active, no matter what you're doing. So when hegemony is active, this is times 3. So right now, this is like over 10% crit rate just by itself. And that's at level 30 is going to get better. Easy money. And then right here, if the target has hegemony, target is granted attention, then it has hegemony. But this is an EX card, so you don't want to rely on that. But whenever you activate your strategy skill, which is his rush ability, Q's rush ability, you're going to get a bunch of attack points. So that's another build if you're focusing mainly on Q. I did a couple different builds for a couple different characters in case you want to switch it up. This one was the pure counterattack build. When you activate a counterattack, you increase your chain damage multiplier. You're counterattacking a lot, especially with Q or anybody like that, you should get a lot of break going on. And then you have these two cards, which is control for crit rate, and then the counterattack damage multiplier. This one, it helps you recover stamina. It is a mini boss card, but with the event going on, you should be able to get it if you don't already have it, right? So that's going to be a big stamina. If you're doing a lot of counterattacks and you're solely focusing on that, and you have a lot of attention on you, again, using Q as an example, if you have all that going on, you're going to get attacked a lot. You're going to use a lot of stamina. This will help you keep doing it and not have to worry about stamina. And then this one right here increases your crit rate. It's at level 1 because I don't have the resources to bump all these up. This is just me theory crafting, all right? Don't bite my head off. But it increases your crit rate whenever you counterattack. So everything is literally fueling itself over and over again. It's really good stuff. Now, let's look at the next one. This next one is going to go for the Miyu players. I was looking at it, and it's going off of a lot of Reconstruct and Ultimate damage. Which, Limit Point and Reconstruct, they're part of the same combo. When you get Limit Point, you get Reconstruct. Yeah, when you're under a limit point, if hitting an enemy with an attack that consumes stamina, grant oneself Reconstruct. And Reconstruct increases your critical damage. So you want a lot of crit rate, a lot of crit damage. Now, you want to you want to get one of the two cards that give you limit point. I figured this one would be better, but there is also the other option, which is Miyu's headgear. Let's see if we can find it. Already skipped. Right here. So instead of a secondary attack, it's a strategy skill, but this one is executing a strategy skill. So when you put your crystal out, it's only going to be when you put that crystal out. So you have to keep putting it over and over again. It just didn't feel like it was very cohesive. I feel like you could spam her secondary more, but that's just me. I don't own the character yet, so I haven't been able to test it. But from what I've seen, I feel like this one is a little bit better, right? This one works with it, increases your secondary, and based on the stacks of Reconstruction, increases it more. Okay, cool. Now this one, it is a 3-star card, but if you do have it, it is really good. It increases ultimate damage, because with Miyu, you want to focus a lot on ultimate damage. It's really what you want to do. The whole point of her kit is building up as many stacks of her ultimate with the crystal and everything as much as possible. You want to try and hit max and then blow everything up. So you want as much ultimate damage multiplier as possible. And yes, it's EX, but more than likely, and her ultimate does cost 1 tension, for those who don't know. But it's going to take you a little bit to build up all the crystal strength, right? So eventually, you're probably going to get to EX before you fully build up the crystal if you have a good breaker on your team. So this shouldn't be an issue, and you're going to be staying at it a while. And if you're only using Miyu's ult, you'll get to EX, use 1 bar, go to 2, and then easily get back. Super good stuff. But this increases your ultimate damage, and it's based on Reconstruction stacks, which increases your ultimate skill damage even more. So you want to try and get as many limit points to get Reconstruction as much as possible. Now this is another mini boss card, which also, if you want this instead of the other one, there's an event going on. You could choose one of the 3. After executing ultimate, if another ultimate executed within 10 seconds, increase that damage multiplier, which you can do this. I threw it in here, but it's really situational. You don't have to use this card, but I just threw it in here to. It could be good if you're using her ultimate and then you use somebody else to follow up with their ultimate. Really just depends on the situation. Especially with her maxed out ultimate, it could be a good amount of damage going on. And then this one is just a very basic ultimate skill damage multiplier. I haven't leveled it up, but has the potential to be really good when you put it all the way up. As you can see, I do not have the materials to be doing that. All right, let's go to the next one. So that was for Miyu. And the last build I have for you guys today, it is going to be the one for Inoki, the big Buster Sword user, the character I want the most. Now, excuse me. This is her signature card. And this is going to focus a lot on her strategy skill, which is you build up her heat gauge to release the biggest powerful strategy skill you could possibly make. So this is all has to do with disorder. That's the gimmick she works with instead of reconstruction. Now this is going to be the card you want the most. You're going to want a good tanker on your team to help with reconstruction or disorder. My bad. I'm going crazy here. It increases your defense, but when you take damage from an enemy, grant all members disorder. It increases your own critical rate by 0.5 for every stack you have. For enemies granted this effect, and it decreases their attack point. Grant all member 1 stack. It's really easy stuff, right? Have a tank, get hit, get stacks, profit. Now, there are 2 characters I would suggest. One of them is EG, which he's really good because if you have his secondary passive, he becomes a battery for the team. This one. When one self gains Euphoria, which when he has his AoE up, whenever you attack an enemy in his AoE, he gets Euphoria. Pretty easy. It recharge allies' tension gauge. So he's a battery for your team. So you can have your ultimate up as much as possible. He's also good, but if you like to use Roku's also good. You just need someone to take damage, take some hits to build up the disorder. Because this goes off a strategy skill and it further increases strategy skill with disorder stacks. Same with this. Increases strategy skill, damage multiplier, gain, and whenever you do a counterattack, you get another stack of disorder. So these are 2 different cards that require disorder, that give you disorder. But this one's attention too, so you can't rely on this one too much. This one, probably going to be the main way you get disorder. Now, I put this over here for charm. So everybody's going to be under attention. Ideally, everybody's going to be under attention from EG, which is a debuff. So when you primary attack an enemy with the debuff, they get charm. Now this card, when you attack an enemy with a secondary attack, increases strategy skill damage, increases ultimate skill damage too. So this is a 2-for-1. And then when it hits a charm, it is doubled. So you want to hit people with your primary in EG's field and get double the effectiveness with this. That's big. Level 6. This is already a 3.2 at level 6. This is big damage, and she is a big nuker character. So you just want to, let your tank build up the stacks, do some counterattacks, build up some stacks there, and then you want to release the biggest nuke of your life when you have maximum heat. Biggest nuke for your strategy skill. That's all what this is building up to. Has a little bit of ultimate damage. So that can still get pumped up. But this is mainly focusing on your strategy skill. Now, those are my builds I have going on. I also have these 2 characters specifically. I like him, EG over Roku, because he regenerates your tension. And he provides a 15% crit damage bonus while you're in his field. Let's see. Attention. Grant party members within Spotlight, which is his AoE. Increase crit rate by 10%. My bad. 10%, and I think it's her that's 50. No, 10. I don't know where I'm getting 15 from. Either way, when you use her break, gets everybody 10%. When you're in his field, that's another 10%. So that's an easy 20% crit rate. So that's why I thought, you know, I'll put them on the team. Have this pretend to be Inoki. That's 20% crit rate. Focus on crit rate on your gear. Crit damage. Big nukes. Big nukes. But those are the couple builds. I tried to make some builds for popular characters like Miyu and Inoki right now. And I hope you guys like it. I tried my best. Let me know how you guys feel about these videos, if you want me to explain anything else, or if you just want me to stop yapping and shut up. Now, thank you all for watching. I truly appreciate it, and have a good one. Peace.